that pianist was in the city of, I don't know how you say it, Lviv in western Ukraine, playing at the train station. Thanks for all coming. I'm drawn to read a kind of blessing from Clarissa Pinkola Estes. And the challenge is I didn't bring any Kleenex. So I got to get over being apologetic for being weepy. I'll never become president, I know that. Anyway, so I'll do my best here. Actually, I'm going to do it differently so I'm not reading microscript. Go to my docs to go, poetry. Clarissa Pinkola, ABC. Here it is. Okay. Now I will. Where'd it go? There it is. Grab it. Bring it here. All right. So, let us listen with our hearts. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who was the author of Run with the Wolves, Women Who Run with the Wolves. My friends, do not lose heart. We were made for these times. I have heard from so many recently who are deeply and properly bewildered. They are concerned about the state of affairs in our world now. Ours is a time of almost daily astonishment, and often righteous rage over the latest degradation of what appears to most civilized visionary people. You are right in your assessments. The luster and hubris some have aspired to while endorsing acts so heinous against children, elders, everyday people, the poor, the unguarded, the helpless, is breathtaking. Yet I ask you, gentle you, to please not spend your spirit dry by bewailing these difficult times. Especially, do not lose hope. Most particularly because the fact is that we were made for these times. Yes, for years we have been learning, practicing, being in training for, and just waiting to meet on this exact plane of engagement. I grew up in the Great Lakes and recognize a seaworthy vessel when I see one. Regarding awakened souls, there have never been more able vessels in the waters than there are right now across the world. And they are fully provisioned and able to signal one another as never before in the history of humankind. Look out over the prow. There are millions of boats of righteous souls on the waters with you. Even though your veneers may shiver from every wave in this stormy royal, I assure you that the long timbers composing your prow and rudder come from a greater forest. That long-grained lumber is known to withstand storms, to hold together, to hold its own, and to advance regardless. In any dark time, there is a tendency to veer toward fainting over how much is wrong or unmended in the world. Do not focus on that. There is a tendency to fall into being weakened by dwelling on what is outside your reach, what cannot yet be. Do not focus there. That is spending the wind without raising the sails. We are needed. That is all we can know. And though we meet resistance, we more so will meet great souls who will hail us, love us, and guide us. And we will know them when they appear. Didn't you say you were a believer? Didn't you say you pledged to listen to a voice greater? Didn't you ask for grace? Don't you remember that to be in grace means to submit to the voice greater? Ours is not the task of fixing the entire world all at once, but of stretching out to mend the part of the world that is within our reach. Any small, calm thing that one soul can do to help another, to assist some portion of this poor suffering world, will help immensely. It is not given to us to know which acts or by whom will cause the critical mass to tip toward an enduring good. What is needed for dramatic change is an accumulation of acts. Adding more, continuing. We know it does not take everyone on earth to bring justice and peace, but only a small, determined piece who will not give up during the first, second, or 100th gale. One of the most calming and powerful actions you can do to intervene in a stormy world is to stand up and show your soul. Soul, heart, on deck, shines like gold in dark times. The light of the soul throws sparks, can send up flares, builds signal fires, causes proper matters to catch fire. To display the lantern of soul in shadowy times like these, to be fierce and show mercy toward others, both are acts of immense bravery and greatest necessity. Struggling souls catch light from other souls who are fully lit and willing to show it. If you would help to calm the tumult, this is one of the greatest things you can do. There will always be times when you feel discouraged. I too have felt despair many times in my life, but I do not keep a chair for it. I will not entertain it. It is not allowed to eat from my table. The reason is this. In my uttermost bones, I know something, as do you. It is that there can be no despair when you remember why you came to earth, who you serve, and who sent you here. The good words we say and the good deeds we do are not ours. They are the words and deeds of the one who brought us here. In that spirit, I hope you will write this on your wall. When a great ship is in harbor and moored, it is safe, there can be no doubt. But that is not what great ships were built for. I hope that you will write this on your wall. When a great ship is in harbor and moored, it is safe. There can be no doubt of that. But that is not what great ships are built for. This comes with much love and a prayer that you remember who you came from and why you came to this beautiful, needful earth. Clarissa Pinkola Estes. 2,600 years ago. In a time of war, the Buddha was born. There was war in his lifetime. He averted one or two. In the end, his own city was destroyed. They estimate from the size of the ruin that it was 80,000 dead. He didn't stop teaching. He didn't go to despair. So let us not go to despair. Let us not go to helplessness and hopelessness. Let us pick up the tools of our training: mindfulness, concentration, love, and compassion. Sitting comfortably upright. Tools are really only safe and functional when they're sharp. Let us sharpen this awareness. Let us build momentum behind compassion. Let us take our personal sorrows, our personal fears, our personal disappointments, and through the alchemy of our practice, convert them into the fierce quality of being awake. I aspire, I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma, and I take refuge in the Sangha. Here now. Breathing in occurs. And breathing out occurs. This is a living body. Awareness is present for the actual sensations of in-breathing and out-breathing. There are many trance states. Worrying, planning, restlessness. Desire, wanting, blindly wanting something, or disliking what exists. There's sloth and torpor. There's doubt. There's despair and depression. There's giddiness and excitement. We cultivate an awareness, a presence, in which all of these exist. No need to get rid of any one of them. They'll all disappear in time. And so we center here in the breath that comes and goes. Awake to the body, to the feet and legs, and pelvis and torso, and hands and arms, and face, back. Shining in awareness. Thoughts of various kinds come and go. Memories of a past, a fantasied past, or thoughts of a fantasied future. Again and again. Mindfulness, heart mindfulness, shines on whatever's happening. Noticing mood. Most often we think we are our moods. I am sad, I am happy. I am confused. I am this and that. But mood can be noticed as an object of consciousness, not as myself, but as a phenomenon. Each breath does have a beginning. It does have an ending. According to the Buddha, one of the most weighty positive karmic actions is a single moment of mindfulness. Mindfulness brings with it all the wholesome factors. It brings curiosity. It supports concentration. It's required for equanimity. It supports tranquility. It supports persistence and energy. And all of these together create a kind of quiet joy. A kind of ease. And together they suppress or uproot even the 5 hindrances. Aware, present, knowing, sitting. We plant seeds, tubers, bulbs of mindfulness. We do our best to keep the conditions wholesome for the growth of this. And something miraculous does happen. Awareness itself blossoms. Even if there are long wandering minds, intense identification with emotions and thoughts, something happens. And one is no longer in the trance. One is awake. This is the moment-by-moment miracle of mindfulness. Let us remember the intention to love and accept ourselves exactly as we are. To love and accept life exactly as it is in this moment. If there are aspects of our lives against which we rail, let's open our hearts further. Let's use whatever arises as our vehicle for awakening. Not our vehicle for a stable, predictable life, which isn't possible. Let us use uncertainty to create deep faith in awakening. And in just a little while, we'll be ending this time of retreat together and heading off into whatever it is you're doing today, we're doing. Let's form the intention to do it mindfully. Maybe think of some specific thing you're going to do today. And why not do it with love, with gratitude? There's a very popular quote from Mother Teresa. We can do no great things, only small things with great love. Let us do the small things of today, brushing the teeth, cooking breakfast, driving the car, changing the diaper, answering the phone, finishing the taxes. Waiting in the ICU waiting room. Whatever it is that we're doing today. Let us infuse it with mindfulness and love and compassion. May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. Seeing, recognizing, familiar. want to do one simple sharing here. This is robertbeatty.com. This is Robert at the Salmon River. That's so close to Portland. It's only 40 miles away. Retreats. Hollyhock is coming up to May 29, June 3rd. Brightonbush, there's one more place, I think. So if you want to come to Brightonbush, this is the time to seize it. Germany, July 21 through 26, on the very edge of the largest national park in Germany. And then Hollyhock again in September. And it looks as though I'm also teaching in Whitehorse, the Yukon, in early May, but it's not quite together yet. Oh well. Let me see, I'm going to go back. I forget to talk about this, but I really ought not to. There's this wonderful book, Mindfulness for a Happy Life, that you can order in a variety of places. I'm going to get it so that you can pick them up at PIMC once we open again. It's really worth going to this website. This is an interesting interview, and I took this picture, actually. It's not far from Portland. These good interviews, and these you can go here. This connects with all the YouTube videos. This is guided meditations, a few of the morning meditations that I've picked out. And this is the Dharma Talks, Sunday Dharma Talks on audio. And then if you keep going, I played this the other day, and you can always access this. Yeah. So that's that. What about you? Jim, would you give me a sound check, please?
Testing.
Got it.
1, 2, 3.
Nice and clear. Thank you. How are you faring on this journey through life this morning? That's very quiet again.
I'll share a little bit.
Hi, Robert. It's Rob.
Oh, hang on, Rob. Aaron is trying to speak here.
Uh-oh. Missed it.
Okay. Sorry it's so quiet. So I'll just share a little bit. So, I really appreciate the poem about It Could Be Otherwise. And, as I'm working with my students, a lot of them who are children, and observing the happenings of the world, I took a moment at the beginning of some of the lessons just to say, it's really wonderful to be here with you. And, it doesn't have to be this way. It could be different. And it's really just lovely because, even the young kids, they get it. So, and so just taking a moment of gratitude. And then over the weekend, I met some of the students and families that I've worked with for a lot of them over a year, and have not met them in person. And I'm just really grateful that the current state of the pandemic, which almost seems like a different lifetime at this moment with the other things that have stepped up and overshadowed, but it was just so lovely to meet them for the very first time. And students and their families, and to be able to play music in person and have that just direct exchange. And,
wow, thank you.
So a lot to be grateful with and for, and those things which we do have, and being in relative peace in our current situation here in this part of the world.
Yep.
It could be otherwise. So I'm very thankful.
Thank you. Rob?
I'm sorry about that, Doug. I think it was like right on top of it. Um, I was hoping I could get a processing check on something. We come across nuggets of wisdom that are sourced from individuals sometimes who have a complex story of healing and of harm. And I feel the judgmental mind rise when I get that nugget of wisdom because I know something about the backstory of the person who is the source of that nugget. And then I tell
Oh,
myself, hey, this is a buffet. If you don't want the Jello salad, leave the Jello salad behind. Just take the part that you want for what it is. And
why would you
don't
choose to
have to eat
loot?
the whole buffet.
Why pick on the Jello salad?
Because it's like the highest margin food item in the buffet.
I read you. I agree. I agree. It's wise. So are you? Yeah.
Is that an appropriate way to look at it? Because I just as I've moved down the path of my life, I've just walked away further away from it's all or nothing in the way that I look at the people
Yeah.
that I take wisdom from.
I think we need
But
to do that.
am I being too easy on myself or not discerning enough?
Well, I had that experience this morning. I thought about the Mother Teresa quote,
Yes, exactly.
and she was a complicated person.
Exactly.
She was pretty awful to the people under her.
Yeah, she's like the suffering was the point.
Yeah, yeah. So she had her neurotic issues, and she said some really beautiful things, and she did some really beautiful things, and I think she did some pretty darn awful things. So I guess we just take what we can where we can. I mean, sometimes people do things that are disqualifying. I don't think I would take any guidance from a certain fellow who lives in the Kremlin at this point. I think I don't want to learn anything from him, but I'm certain I don't. Can't imagine being in that consciousness. Or I guess I can, and it's repulsive. So yes, it makes sense to me.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Robert. This is Steffi.
Hi,
And
Steffi.
Sandra. Hi. Thanks, everybody. I guess I just wanted to just talk about I don't know, just working on family issues. Like I think I'm in a better place than I am, and then I end up interacting with somebody, and then just kind of having a scenario where I'm, more upset than I want to be, and I'm just, I guess I'm just trying to figure out how to just have the life I want to have. So I'm sure you can solve that this morning, Robert. I trust you.
Wait. This looks like a pen, but it actually is a magic wand. Are you ready to accept the healing? If you're not ready, it won't work.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Yes.
You know,
I'm counting on it.
I heard you say at the beginning of your sharing something about family. The last place we learn to stay sane is with our family of origin. Because there's something called the family emotional system. This is the therapy model of Murray Bowen. And when I counsel people who are going to visit family systems, I follow what he recommended, which is that I tell them, pick one small thing that you're going to change, that'd be good for you to change, and hold to that if you can. And if you can't, learn about the power of the family emotional system and have mercy on yourself, because the self is not a solid thing. The self is a social construct. And so we go back into the family of origin and we tend to regress. And so we have to have limits. I went back to visit my parents in Montreal for years after I began working on myself. I mean, decades. And I've talked about this many, many times with individuals. There was one. There's a bunch of them, but there was one time I decided that I would go. That I would look at my father during dinner and not look away, because my father always got drunk before dinner, and at dinner he would talk about work, or he would mumble, and nothing much else would happen. We'd eat our dinner, and that had happened for a long time. So I went back. How old was I? 52, 54. Had kids and the whole catastrophe. And I decided, plus I thought I wouldn't drink. So there, it was dinner time, and I went and I sat in my place, and across from me were the ghosts of my sisters in their chairs, and my father was on my left and my mother was on the right. And my father began, and I tried to look, and I could hardly turn my neck. It was like a, "Thou shalt not do this." And then I managed to get my head to turn, and there it was happening, and I could see it. And my mother started doing a very interesting, weird gesture with her hand that I recognized I'd seen thousands of times, but I'd never noticed it. And then I turned to watch my mother, and she just about exploded. She just didn't know what to do. Because I watched her doing that, and then I looked at my father, and it was developing a little greater piece of autonomy. But with families, it's very difficult. So having mercy on yourself is really important. That can be maybe the greatest change, to be kind with yourself. Is that speaking to what you're wondering about? And families also will reach out. Families will reach out and kind of demand, "You better be the same. You better not change. How dare you go to bed when we're having a fight, right? You better stay in this." But we just, one little piece at a time, we make our steps to freedom. That making sense?
I appreciate that.
Do you know Mary Oliver's poem, "The Journey"?
No.
I highly recommend it.
Okay.
It sounds like it might be a good poem for you right now.
Thank you.
Okay. Someone else spoke at the same time as Steffi.
Well, since the other person's not speaking, I just want some clarification. Does the Jell-O salad have hot dog in it or not? From the
We're getting a lot of mileage out of that.
Usually whipped cream and some form of pineapple, which is an abomination. But anyway.
Hi. Oh, sorry, I'm invisible. I just wanted to mention that my parents recently disappeared within 14 months, both of them. And it's been a nice opportunity. I've noticed that the family constellation reorganized itself. And without the oppression, I mean, my parents were good people, but they had structures in place for us. And it's all kind of evolving. And actually, it's a great opportunity to redo some of the systems. And I've been able to be a lot more present for my brothers, which has been nice. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Joy.
Robert? Ananya has a comment.
Oh, I see. I didn't. Hi, please speak.
Hi. I just wanted to say I think there's a Native American saying that our enemies are our greatest teachers. Am I right about that?
I don't know, but it sounds like a very wise statement.
Okay. Again, as we consider the difficulties in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that could also be said of our internal enemies, I suppose.
Yeah.
Good morning, Robert.
Hello, Mark.
Songa. I just wanted to thank you for reading the poem that you read in the beginning. I was speaking with my twin daughters last night who are young 20-something, so they're experiencing their first real war, I suppose, as young adults. Fully experiencing, what that's all about. And they're frightened as, this crazy person is rattling a saber. And so that poem, I've just sent it to them because I think there's a lot in there for them to take comfort in. So I thank you for that.
May they be comforted. I must say I choose to say, not I must say. I've been privileged, and I really mean that, it's not just a figure of speech, to meet my daughter's friends. For the last 15 or more than that years, I've met her friends in when she lived in New York and when she lived in Brazil and when she lived in Berkeley. And these young people are astounding in their devotion to caring for others. She has a friend named Marcus who lives in New York, and he works, I probably should, well, I couldn't mention the name, I don't remember. He works with a bank that makes small loans to women in the United States, and they have something like $1 billion out on loan. Small loans for women to start businesses. And they have, in order to get a loan, you have to have 4 other women to work with you. And you all sign responsibility for the other person's loans. Everyone's responsible for everyone's loans. And they're incredibly successful. And he was a figure in making this happen. I mean, incredible creativity among the young people. So it's beautiful and inspiring to me. Yay, Marcus. One of her other friends is the chief of psychiatry at a hospital in San Francisco. Jeez. They always were bright, but this is a level of shining which is quite remarkable. Well, anybody sitting with anything? I need to go in a relatively timely fashion this morning. I like to not have a fixed end because you never know what's cooking. Carol, I think you're winning the fashion prize this morning. That's an amazing. Could you move your shawl so we can see more of the sweater? Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. Very nice.
Thank you. I got it years ago at a fundraising garage sale that we've been, well, until COVID, we've done on Quadra for 25 years to raise money for villages and children in the Philippines, northern Philippines. So lots
Wow.
of gems from that garage sale.
Yeah,
Thanks.
those are very precious, the garments, aren't they?
Nice and warm.
Yeah.
Warm and cozy.
Okay, my friends, let us sing our way home. Bhavatu sabe mangalam. Bhavatu sabe mangalam. Bhavatu sabe mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a lovely mindful day, friends. Goodbye, friends on Facebook and YouTube.